I have a female friend of mine who was dating the guy of her dreams for a couple of years. And they were really in love. Like, both of them were genuinely in love. They were happy, and things were starting to get serious. As he was working his way up to a proposal, his parents told him that if he actually did that, they would, basically disown him because she was of different faith. So what happened? He ended up actually backing out, apologizing. I knew he was miserable about it. She was devastated, and they didn't end up together. All because his parents said, hey, she's of a different religion, we're not going to handle that, and he chose his parents over love. And another scenario is from a client I've worked with in the past, but this could be many people I've worked with because I've seen this so many times. Your parents either choose somebody for you, especially if you're in a culture where it's more arranged, or, they know somebody and they set you up. And then there's this expectation that you have to pursue that relationship till the end. You have to get with them. I had this gentleman who started dating this woman and realizing he was not that into her. It wasn't going to work out long term, and it's not what made him happy. But his parents loved her. Basically, he continued to date this person until the point where they actually got engaged. And he would come and talk to me and say, I'm just unhappy. And I know this isn't going to work out. And I know that I'm basically going to be unsatisfied and miserable. But I just can't go against my parents. Or sometimes it's against my family in general. And what happened? Ended up moving forward, ended up getting married. And as far as I know, when I still talk to him, he's just not happy. It didn't change. And I've heard also so many people out of divorces that say the same thing. I got together because of my parents or because of family pressure, and I stayed miserable for a long time, and then eventually they almost always end up splitting or end up cheating or in a dead bedroom situation. Now, I'm not trying to say that you should hate your parents and that they're bad people. In fact, I think a lot of this comes from a good place, right? Your parents love you, and they think that they're doing the best for you, that they're helping you move things forward, that they help you get out of being single, that they're helping you start a family. And most of the time, their intentions are pure. But the problem is, they aren't you. We're all individuals. What they want and what makes them happy and the types of values that they need to feel compatible with someone is not you, even if you are their lineage, right? If you are from the same genes, we are exceedingly different. Me and my siblings, while we get along and we love each other, we could not be different in many ways. So while your parents think that they may be doing you a favor, they're really thinking through their own lens of what they want and not what would actually make you happy. And that's the problem. You're the one that has to deal with these decisions and the consequences potentially for the rest of your life, right? We're talking about decades of where you might be unhappy or miserable or unsatisfied. And unfortunately, eventually your parents may pass, and you're still going to be the one that has to endure all that for years to come. And really, let's say that you do listen to your parents, and it's not only about choosing the right person. It's about, where you send your kids to school, or how often you guys should be going out, or how often you have to come see them, or what type of activities you have to do, how fast the relationship should be moving forward, how many kids they should have, when they need to start having kids, how he needs to propose to you, what kind of wedding you need to have, whatever. This happens as well. It's not just like, what person does my parents choose for me? It is also a host of decisions that they should not largely be making. What do I have to do within my relationship? And they kind of ask about what's going on in your relationship, and they try to guide you. This really damages the partnership, because think of that word. A relationship is a partnership. It is you and the other person choosing to make decisions together to find the best life where you two can grow and feel happy. But if you're deferring that decision to somebody else, you're basically telling your partner you don't trust them. You don't prioritize them. You don't value their opinion over, your family's. And therefore, they never feel secure. They don't feel like an equal. They don't feel heard. And that is going to cause a huge rift in the relationship. Because at the core of any good relationship is that security that you are growing together, that you guys are doing it together, and you have that investment and that trust and that communication. That will never be the case when there's a third party influencing it. The other person might as well just give up and say, fine, I'm basically a third wheel in our own relationship. You want your partner to feel valued and like you're working at something together and not they're just some third wheel that you think about at the very end. Now, I get it. This is not easy to try to go against your own family. A lot of people, the reason why they don't is they say, I'm worried my family will disown me, or they'll hate me, or they'll stop supporting me. I get it. It's a real risk. But I don't think, sabotaging your own happiness and connections is worth just them feeling a little upset or them feeling like you didn't listen to them. And in fact, I actually don't think it's as risky as you honestly believe. I've had dozens, if not hundreds of people tell me situations like this. Then they go to their parents and they approach it the right way, which we'll talk about in a second. And guess what? A lot of times their parents accept it pretty readily and they're like, okay, fine. Or even if they don't, they come around pretty quick. And sometimes it may take even a little longer. But again, if your parents truly want the best for you and they love you, then they'll be able to see through their own emotions and their own defenses or ego and say, this is what my child wants. And they're coming from a place where they actually will feel like it will sincerely make them happy. And I need to put their needs over my own. Of course, there are exceptions. And this is a risk you have to take yourself, especially sometimes when somebody is, for example, coming out gay to their parents. That is a tough one where I've seen parents not, accept that soon or even sometimes altogether. But to be honest, even in those scenarios, I've talked to friends who have come out and they don't regret it. They never regret stepping into who they are and pursuing the life they want because, again, the other option is a day-to-day misery where they know they're not getting the life that they would actually enjoy. So how do you approach this conversation with your parents? I think it always, as I say, when you're having hard conversations, is to start from a place of how you feel. Allow them to empathize with you. So I want you to come to them and say, hey, listen, I appreciate your perspective on all this, and you know that I value your input a lot. But I also want you to know that this is really important for me to figure out, and that it's important for me to understand what I need and what's going to make me happy, because it is different from what you guys may want. A lot of their concerns may be that you are not taking things seriously, you're not getting settled fast enough, you are overlooking things. Address that with them. Say, hey, listen, I know you really want me to find a partner and settle down and start a family. I'm taking that seriously. I'm looking, I'm going out, I'm meeting people, but I just haven't found that right person yet. I'm not like holding someone realistic expectations, but I want somebody who loves me and cares about me and we have a good connection together. Or, hey, listen, I know that they may be of different faith, but I want you to understand that we've talked through that. They're willing to, come to our services at times. They're not opposed to raising our kids certain ways or with both religions. They want to understand, our views and so forth. So you give some reassurance that just because they're different doesn't mean that they're going to, change who you are or go against your family. But again, you're giving them that reinforcement that you are taking things seriously and you are working towards building a good life for you. And that's what they should want at the end of the day. And if you do all that, what usually happens is your parents eventually come around and you actually have a closer relationship for it. When we work through hard conversations with people and we come to an understanding and we accept each other, we actually get closer. So every time I've heard, somebody tell me, oh, I'm afraid to bring this up to my parents, when they do and they finally work through it, and eventually they do, almost always they feel closer. Their parents have a more open relationship. Their parents respect their independence more. They don't just say, oh, this is my baby and I need to take care of them for the rest of my life and protect them. But they start to see you as an individual, as independent, and see you as somebody who can successfully navigate their own path. And then I think you appreciate them a lot more in their input when it's desired and when you come to them for it. So while it may feel tough right now, I think there are so many benefits for your own happiness, your own communication with your parents, your own relationship with them, and strengthening the relationship with the right people that you actually want to date. Now, if you like this video, as always, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and share your comments. Maybe you had a positive experience talking through your parents, and now you are a lot happier for it. We would love to hear your inspiration, and I love hearing your stories.